hello everybody out there in TikTok land and Facebook world. How are we all doing? This is Monty with 412 Productions coming at you live right now and in charge. Hopefully y'all are doing alright this morning. It is, sorry, a bright and glorious, what is today? Tuesday? Yes, today is a Tuesday. I had to look at my calendar. I don't know what day it is. I don't go to work like a regular person. I'm working 24/7. Building my empire in the comic world and, just having fun with art. And my artwork and stuff like that. So, speaking of which, the latest piece right here. My female vampire has just had a snack. Don't you all wish you had a snack? She's got blood running down her boobs. Yes, I said it. She's got blood running down her boobs. Blood in the fangs. It's all good. So, with that image, there was an older image on there that was of just a female vampire's mouth open wide getting ready to take a bite out of somebody. And that was back in 2019 when I painted that picture up. And quite frankly, it sucked. And that's why it never sold. So I repainted the entire canvas, just painted over the original painting that was on there. So you get a double painting. Whoa, that's cool. So, and now you've got a brand new, more seductive, if you will, female vampire on front instead of just a mouth with its mouth wide open with fangs coming at you. So, good morning everybody in the world. I know I get a lot of US viewers, and if everybody is correct, we have 5 days to use this app before everybody jumps over to Red Note. Apparently everybody's jumping to Red Note, Blue Sky, True Social, Clapper, Flip, the list goes on and on of social media apps that people are jumping over to now. But, if we only have 5 days left of this app, then so be it. I will still be going live on all of my broadcast channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, you can only go live so much on Instagram, but hopefully you all are doing great out there. But there's a lot to talk about. Opened up my Facebook this morning to some very disheartening news about Neil Gaiman. If you don't know who that is, he is the American author. Well, not American. He's not from America. He is the author of Sandman, Coraline. The list goes on and on. The Omens, Good Omens, American Gods. The list goes on and on of stuff that he has worked on, but Sandman was his great claim to fame back in the 80s for DC Comics. And it has come out that allegations of SA. So if you know what that means, it is very sad because I enjoyed some of his stuff, but now looking back at some of the stuff he has written, including, and let me pull this up real fast so I can get the name correct, How to Talk to Girls at Parties, it makes a little more sense with all of the 8 or so allegations brought against him of SAing, and it's not cool, Mr. Gaiman. Not cool at all. Now, everybody that he supposedly SA'd also signed a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. But that puts a whole different damper and a whole different light on the stuff that he does. Because SA is not right in any form, fashion, or another. I don't care who you are, what your status is in the world. SA is not cool. It is not right, period. But so many men and so many women think they can get away with it and not be caught or called out on it. And it's a sad state of affairs, especially whenever you, and I say you, I mean us as a collective, enjoy the stories that some of these people write, or the characters that they bring to life, or their acting skills. But, you cannot overlook the multiple factions of people coming out, especially when you have 8 accusers coming out now against Neil Gaiman about this. And Sandman was always a cool character, but the storytellings and the weavings that he made and wrote were always very cool. But then as you look at some of his titles and some of his books, it's just like, oh, well, maybe this is where, some of this happened, and he was writing about true life events, in some of his stories. But, it can't be excused, and if it is true, then all of the characters he's ever created are going to suffer big time. Coraline, one of the bigger movies of his, will go down, I'm pretty sure. And so will Sandman. And I wouldn't be surprised if people start pulling all of his books off the shelves. So, if you're still going to be a Neil Gaiman fan, I guess you better go buy his stuff up now, including the Sandman graphic novels and things of that nature. But I know comic shops will still have all the stuff in store, most likely, because comic stores really don't care. They just want the sales. So if people flock and buy up all their stuff, then better for them. So I've got done with that painting. Switching gears just a little bit. Get off of that topic. That heavy topic that was brought on me this morning. Now that painting's done, I've sold an Art the Clown piece. It's already shipped off. It should be to them by tomorrow. Actually, the 15th. So that's pretty cool. And if you don't know which Art the Clown piece I'm talking about, I shows you. Peoples. I shows you. Right here. It fits on a nice little base, just like such. It says art. It says The Art of Art on here. The Art of Art. Right there. For those of you who don't see it up here on Facebook, The Art of Art. Right there. Well, let me put it over here where you can see it right there. And then, boom, we throw this on here. Just like such. And it sits in its own little base. Just like this. Just like this. And you see, well, let me get it over here where you guys can see it actually on Facebook. Right there. And you guys here on TikTok. Right there. So this is the stuff I've been working on. I've got a Billy the Puppet piece as well. I am in the process of cutting the slot in. Let me pull this out and get rid of the old logo. Cutting the slot for here. It says, I want to play a game. And the slot is going to be right here. On here. Right here. Right here. Right here. And then this will sit just like this. Yada yada right here. Let me turn him right there. Boom. And that's how he will sit. Might even be closer to that little notch in the game piece, or in the puzzle piece right there. So, right there. And then that one will be sealed and hopefully find a new home. And I am probably going to turn the other one into a clock, because someone made mention of that. That it would look cool to turn that into a clock. So I am thinking about doing that. You know what? I don't have my Brisk sponsor drink. No, they're not sponsoring me, but they need to, jackasses. You guys need to get on to Brisk and be like, hey, look, this guy drinks enough of Brisk on his live shows that he needs to be sponsored by you. You need to send him free drinks of the two that he likes, which is the fruit punch and the lemonade. So, that is not an endorsement. I mean, it is kind of an endorsement, because this stuff is very smooth. It's very low on sugars, and 11 grams, which is a tremendous amount less than your sodas and soft drinks, and even some of your Monsters and Red Bulls and Bangs and Ghosts and things of that nature. Ah, refreshing. Alright, so So now I'm getting ready to jump into the realm of doing some more comic book covers. Writing on my own comic book. I haven't done that in a little while. And we are 14 days into the new year, and I haven't written a single thing on my comic book. But I plan on doing that. I'm going to get this sealed up, the vampire piece, and hopefully find a new home for it. Let's see here. But yeah, lots and lots of cool things are happening. Not so much the Neil Gaiman thing. That was a crappy thing to wake up to this morning. And sad state of affairs with that. But it is pretty... If you find any of the articles on it out there, it is pretty graphic. Because just one of the ones that I read that Joseph Michael Linsner posted, who is another great, phenomenal artist, for Dawn, and his own title, which is Dawn, the goddess of resurrection. He posted on a link on a page, and it was pretty graphic what the people were talking about there. And so if you can find the articles on that, you can go read that for yourself about Neil Gaiman. And it's just, it's kind of crazy just to read what I read, and a lot of people couldn't even make it through the whole article. But it was pretty sad that, you know, they take their power and abuse it like they do. But unfortunately, a lot of people apparently do that, and they think it's okay, and it's part of the world, I guess. This is why it's all jacked up. There we go. Now I'm back in the center spotlight. My computer was off. Sorry, folks. Not off, but it was tilted just a little bit. So I was more in my logos, which is right here. 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson, with the alien logo. So I've got the alien head going on. Yes, I used a small clip of the Twilight Zone opening intro to create my video. Now, I did not start my video over here like that this time, but I will be opening my videos live with my new sequence of events when it comes to my new video. I revamped my video. The old one that you used to see or saw, hold on, holy crap, it's still early. I've been up since about 2:30 this morning. The opening video that you did see, I think I posted it on here as well. Hold on, guys. I got a pig that needs to go out. Yes, I have a pig in the house. Pig drama averted. Yes, I'm a homesteader. I have animals. I have chickens. I have goats. I have a pig. The pig stays inside like a dog. Sorry about that, folks. I did not mean to leave you. I know it was heart-wrenching. And no, I get it. You should not leave your own life, but sometimes you have to. But with that being said, I was on the topic of Neil Gaiman and the industry. And we're going to leave that subject alone. If you want to go read it, you can find it yourself. It is about Neil Gaiman and his allegations of essaying, and you can go check that out yourself. There's a lot of articles out there on it right now just by pulling up Google and typing in his name. And boom, you can find it. Just look. You can also look under Sandman creator or Good Omens creator and things like that. Now, on to Dallas Cowboys, the best team out there in the NFL. We're delusional fans, trust me. We are in a coaching search, which is cool. Mike McCarthy did okay things for us out there in the world, as far as being there for 5 years and only getting us to the playoffs twice. And he did have a winning season there. He went 49-35, I believe was his record. And now we are on to the next coach. We are in talks with two different ones, because we can't talk to one right now, and I hope they don't bring him back, honestly. Kellen Moore is in the talks as well. He used to be a backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and then he became a offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys and an assistant head coach. And he had some great play callings for a while, but then all of a sudden things went downhill because we were scoring like 35 to 40 points a game under him right off the bat. But then all of a sudden something changed and the points started dropping off. So, and then the next one is Jason Witten, longtime Dallas Cowboys tight end. Unfortunately, never won a Super Bowl either, with Tony Romo at the helm, and those two needed a Super Bowl ring, 100%, but it never happened. And then the latest rumor, and the one that's growing the most legs, is Deion Sanders. Talks have been apparently happening with him, the Colorado head coach, and that could be an interesting thing since he was a player with the 49ers and then the Dallas Cowboys. One of the greats out there. And you can hear the pig in the background. I'm sorry, guys. She's a little testy. Her name is Bacon Bit. Or Little Bit. Whichever one you want to call her at the time. Jackass sometimes. A lot of other names that you want to call her too, but we won't go there. This is a family show. No, it's really not. That's why whenever I post this to YouTube, I have to mark it not for kids because of the language in here on occasion and some of the content that I show on the artwork. It is not kid friendly. I mean, for the most part, it is. I mean, probably 90% of what I do is kid friendly when it comes to the artwork. I don't take the R-rated or above items to shows unless the show specifically says it's okay. And not many of them are, because most of them are friendly events. Now, I've been to a few shows that they had an after hours type of a deal that was adults only. You had to be certain age to get in, and that's where it was okay to show that type of stuff. So yes, I do draw that type of stuff as well. So back to it all. My comic book needs more writing in it. I'm 16 pages in, like I said, and I've been revamping every aspect of my logos for all of my shipping labels and mailing labels to any letterheads that I will have, any publications, banners, and things like that. I'm reworking the whole aspect of putting the new logo too. And there's two logos. So, I'm planning on doing a table wrap so that it will have the logo on the table up front, and all of that good stuff. So I'm looking at gazebos as well with the imprinted logo on it. I'm looking at the pull-up banners, even a tabletop version, because it just certain aspects you can't use your full setup. So if you have a tabletop cover that has your logo on it and all that good stuff, it's much more beneficial for you than having one of those pull-up banners that, yeah, they're cool, but they're just in the way, if that makes any sense. Now, they make different sizes and different styles and things like that, which I could work with for the most part, but I'm thinking about going away with that altogether and just going with something a little more simple like the table wrap. Just because the table wrap gets you out there on top and on the front, and it's easier to put away. Oh, sorry. There's nothing else that you have to drag in to your event. Meaning, you've already got your backdrop stuff to put up, and then you got a pull-up banner that you're going to pull up, and then you got everything else that you're spreading around. So why not have something simple, quick, and easy? So that's some of the stuff that I'm looking at getting done that way. And on that same token and note, it is very much more informative, I think, because people can see it. Yeah, if they're right up on it, they're not going to see it, obviously, but when they're walking a convention and they're looking at things, instead of looking at someone's feet or just a table runner, boom, you now have this logo out there. And I know a lot of people use those, and it's very beneficial for them. And there's a lot of people that have a lot more simpler setup than I do. And I keep thinking and running scenarios through my head of how I really want everything to be laid out. And so it's just, there's still a lot of planning for 2026. Because like I said, 2025, there will be no conventions gone to, unless it's as a guest. I mean, as a convention goer, not a guest, but a convention goer. And I got sent a book to read from another creator out there, King Daniel, with his podcast, In Your Face podcast. Holy crap. Maybe it's just the oxygen going out of my body from talking too much. But no. And I read his story, his comic book, which is Jarhead, and it was pretty good. It was good. And I'll give him his feedback on that as well. And I am looking at, the stuff that he put into his. It was 28 pages, I believe, on his PDF that he sent me to read. He did not send me a hard copy of it, but I'll probably end up getting a hard copy just to support. And with that being said, my own book, I'm 16 pages in on book 1, and I need to get back to writing. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do some more artwork, which I've got all these set aside so that I can do these right here. All these comic book covers. Ooh. I got a lot right here. Stuff that I think people would be interested in purchasing. Some Spawn, some Batman, some Street Fighter. Prophet I'm probably just going to do for myself. I'm not 100% sure yet. Some Turtles, Teenage Ninja Turtles, all there. Some Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider. some House of Secrets, very awesome. This is Absolute Batman #1, the Noir edition. And then, of course, Vampirella Strikes. I did a crappy cover on this one as I was just laying out, so I repainted it, and it turned out really well. The paint that I used actually matches the color cover, almost identical. You can see it just a hair where it's off just a little bit in color, but it actually matched pretty well. So I was kind of surprised about that. So those are the ones I'm going to be working on here soon. But I'm also going to be writing more on my own and doing more character development as I am developing all the different characters that I want into the comic book. And with that, it's just you're going to have so many complex characters in this 4-issue miniseries. And I want it that way because I want you to be able to read into everything when it comes to the characters. Again, you're going to have witches. You're going to have, holy crap, warlocks. You're going to have cryptids, from Bigfoot to aliens to Loch Ness Monster to chupacabras to, I mean, the list goes on and on of the different cryptids that are going to be in the book. You're going to have fairies. You're going to have fays. You're going to have, woodland sprites and nymphs and things of that nature that are all tied together in this book. That, it's not going to be a Peter Pan type of a thing where Tinkerbell is floating around and shaking her head and getting angry at people. There are going to be fairies, but they're not going to be a Tinkerbell fairy. So get that notion out of your head. But it's going to be cool. Hopefully everybody enjoys it and likes it just a little bit. Just because, I'm wanting to bring back fun into comic books again. Like I talked about on the other show, either yesterday, I can't remember if I did this yesterday or the day before. Whatever day I went live. We were talking about, how much politics are in comic books now, and how comic books just don't seem to be as fun as they used to. And even the people that are diehard collectors only collect because of covers or issue #1, or I need this issue in this run to go, those type things. And it's just like, it's time to bring fun back into comic books and have fun writing and drawing the comic book, because I am the writer, I am the artist, I am the inker, and I'm going to have it published. So, oh my gosh, this pig is killing me. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Pause button. Would you knock it off, please? sorry for leaving you again. Alright, so, pig taken care of. So, anyway, I need to get back into writing my own story. Like I said, I'm 16 pages in on the book, and I need to go farther. I need to have more content going on. But I also need to develop my characters a little more. I pretty much know the main characters that are going to be in the book. You've got your antagonist hero type right off the bat. You've got your supporting characters that help him throughout the book. And am I gonna do more with these characters? Very possible. There's always that possibility, to always do more with your own characters. But I'm hoping to... Sorry, I had a big splinter that was in my hand. It wasn't huge, but it was just an annoyance. So I used an X-Acto knife to get it out with. So you want to develop your characters, and you always want to think about the future of your characters. What is going to happen, at the end of book 4? Are you going to character develop and push these characters, showing what their life was like prior to the book, or are they going to have their own spin-off 4-issue miniseries? Are they going to have an ongoing book? Is your main character going to end up with his own ongoing book? Those type things. And it's just going to depend on you, the reader, in reality. Because if I create this world and put the input that I get back from other artists, other writers, other fans and family into the book, then where does the character go from there? Does the character continue to evolve, or do we go back and do a prequel story of his life as he was growing up? Because that could go countless, many different ways. Just because of the age of the character. He's not a spring chicken, if you will. And a lot of things in the story come from real life situations. I mean, because a lot of artists and writers and things like that take personal experiences and craft them into stories for themselves. And, it's all about weaving a wonderful tale to tell so that people want to read more and want to come back to your stuff. Just because it is, it's always fun to have returning customers, happen with you, and them wanting more from your characters. Why didn't you go this direction with the character? Why did this happen to the character? Why don't we know more about this situation that you talked about in the book? And that's always fun to hear, because I always get people, complimenting my artwork, and they're always like, why didn't you do this with this? Or why, this and that and the other? And it's just like, well, it just didn't lend itself to that at the time. And it's just like some of the originals that I do have back here. It's just like, I need to go in and do some extra to the piece to make it pop out even more. Instead of just having this female character on a white background, because that's Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. She needs more. She needs stuff around her goblins and things of that nature. It's kind of like I did the comic book cover with her on it. And then I've got Emma Frost, the White Queen. She needs more. stuff around her instead of just the white background that she's sitting on. Samus from a video game. I've got her character, which needs a space background with it or something. And it's just a white background. There's so many like that I never just put backgrounds into, because it was just like, no, I'm focusing on the main character, nothing else, and that's it. And I think that's hurt some of my pieces, if you will. And I can go back in there now and be like, we can do a little different here, here, and here, and make it look cooler. And I am so sorry for the yawning. I don't know what is up. And apparently whenever I talk a lot, it happens. Brisk, I need your sponsorship. Ooh, the top just disappeared. But yes, you people get on the horn. And look, there's even aliens on it too. See that? There's aliens on it. There's aliens on it right there. Not as cool as mine, but The artist of this was Tom Rogers. So there you go. Maybe I should think about doing something for Brisk Tea. But no, the characters, they're complex, simple characters. There's true dynamics to them that make them down to earth and hopefully easily likable or hateable. Just because you don't want every character you do to be likable. You want that dickhead in there. You want that jerk. You want that lovable character. You want, the list goes on and on of the character styles that you want people to interact with as they're reading the book. And it's like, if you don't have those complex characters, then people aren't going to enjoy the book as much. And so we want people to enjoy the book completely. I've got a whole stack of comic books sitting right over here that, it's like the characters are very complex. There's a lot of seriousness in the stories. Conan right here, Batman right here, Detective Comics. There's always seriousness in there. And you very few and far between do you find the fact that there are, those characters that have humor with them as well. So that's what I'm hoping to bring, is more humor and more fun back into comic books. But I'm also adding a twist in there too with mine. I'm not going to give it away, just because I think it's maybe only been done a couple times in comics. And I'm going to have to look that up to be sure. But you see it in movies more than you do in comic books. And I am hoping to break the norm with this as I move forward in the book. And I'm excited, is what I am. I'm excited. Ooh, I'm excited. Gives me tingly goosebumps. Not really, but it's cool. No, I am looking forward to having my own book out there in publication. And I'm probably going to end up doing all of it before I produce it all. That way, you have all of them. You're not just getting, like one here, and it takes 6, 8 a year long to get it in your hands. I'm going to be writing them all, and then I'll illustrate them all, and then I will have them all published at the same time. I think that's more economical, and I think that's better on you, the reader, and the fans, than having to wait months, like 9 months to a year, or even longer than a year to get the next book. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to do all this because I'm doing it all. And yeah, I could have somebody else come in and do all my interiors, but that means I'm paying them out, you know, right off the bat, and having to come up with all that extra money to pay them per page, so on and so forth. And it's just more economical to do it this way. I know a lot of people don't like doing it that way, but if I can keep more money in house and spend it on my covers that I'm going to have done, because there's going to be 4 covers per book. So how many is that? That's 4 plus 4 is 8. So there's 16 books total, or 16 total covers on the 4 books. Mine I will have 1 per book. So every book will have a cover from me. And then there will be 3 other artists per book. And I probably will not have a repeat on those covers. Just because I want to introduce a lot of other people's artwork into it as well. I'm going to be reaching out to some high profile people to see what kind of a deal we can work out as well. Find out what their prices are. I've got several people in mind so far, because right now I've got about 6 people in mind right off the top of my head. And so I am really looking forward to all this that's happening this year. The rebuild year for 412 Productions. And it's going to be fun, because that's what I want it to be. I don't want it to just be so ho-hum, ho-drum, and you know, this is all you are focused on is this type of artwork, or, you know, whatever. But it's just like, well, we have a whole world in front of us. Now, could my entire dream go up in smoke? Sure it could, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And you know, it's like I have all these grandioso plans, and I could die tomorrow, and then boom, all those plans are for naught. But I'm giving it my biggest gung-ho effort. Adapt and overcome, move forward, fight to live another day. You know, all those good terminologies that you have out there. But my biggest one to leave you guys with, and I'm not leaving just yet because I still got another 20 some odd minutes, is that your mind is only as big as you want it to be. And I've used this line for so long that it's the truth, though. If you want your mind to be where it is, then don't learn anything else. If you want your mind to be more than what it is, start learning something else. We all are the captains of our own ship, if you will. Just because with that, you can either work for another company, like I did for years, or take up the reins to your own destiny. Meaning, what is a passion of yours that you want to see come to fruition? And with that, grab it by the horns and go for it. Because if you don't try, your dreams will die. And I hate to see that for anybody. And I see that so many times, is that people give up on their passion because of debt, because of, I'm working, 12 hours a day, and then I've still got to come home and cook and clean and take care of the household and things like that, even though there's other people in the house. So don't let your dreams fade away and die. Because I almost let that happen for myself. I put down the pen and paper for a marriage because I was told it wasn't good enough to bring in money into the household. I was told that, yeah, it's cool and all, but there is no realm of possibilities for it. Ever since I was a kid, I was told that I needed to find a real job. And I listened to that. I let that sink into my head. And there was times in my life where I never touched pen to paper or pencil to paper, period. The second marriage from 2010 to 22, I dropped the pen and paper for almost 6 years because it's not going to bring money into the household. It's not a good endeavor. Those type of situations. Yeah, I did a little pieces here and there for people, but those people were buying it because of the relationship to the marriage more than it was for me. Because once the divorce happened, those people that were buying artwork on a regular basis stopped buying 100%, totally, completely. They haven't even contacted me about doing artwork for them again, even though I was their go-to guy on a regular basis. And now I barely even get a thank you on anything I post on their Facebook page, and that's okay. I mean, if that's how you want to be whenever you used to call people friends, then that's on you. I forgive you. I move on, because I can't let it dictate or fester inside of me, because if I do, that's just holding me back. They might never forgive me for what happened, in the marriage and why I ended it, but they don't know the whole story. And there's always two sides to every story, and then, as they always say, there's truth in the middle somewhere. And I was at fault in my marriage. I can admit that. I have no problems admitting it, because I know I was wrong in certain aspects. But there's two people to a relationship most of the time, unless you're one of those swinging couples, and then you've got multiples, and then that's a whole different thing. And then you've got the other people that have more than one wife, those type of situations. That's different too. But this one, a common marriage, and there's always two people to the relationship, and one person can be doing everything right, the other person can be doing everything wrong, or both people can be doing everything right, and it still ends up imploding. But basically just saying relationships take a lot of work and a ton of forgiveness. And sometimes that forgiveness just doesn't happen. Even though you've tried. So, if you're still out there and you're in a relationship where you think you need to not be in that relationship, then trust your gut and move on. But if you think you can make it work, then please try to make it work. Otherwise, you're both going to be miserable, and that's not good for anybody, especially if there's kids involved as well, because they can pick up on these things. And never blame the children for your mistakes. That's one hard thing that a lot of parents don't understand, is that sometimes they blame the child for all the problems in the household. Yeah, well, if you weren't around, there'd be so much more of this or peace or whatever. But that's not the case. It's you, the person, the grown-up, that's at fault. Never blame your children. Never blame your children. So we've talked about a lot of things so far. From Neil Gaiman and the 8 SA allegations brought against him. We've talked about a new head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, the potentials from Deion Sanders, Jason Witten, Kellen Moore are the 3 top runners right now, to my own comic book, the new happening here at 412 Productions. And that's a lot. I didn't think I was going to wake up to a heavy subject this morning, but to each their own. It happens, and I wish it didn't happen, but this world is fucked up. That's why this show isn't for kids, folks. I use some language, and I know some kids hear more language at home than I say here on my show, but I always mark it not for kids, just so that anyone below a certain age has to be verified to try and even get into my shows on YouTube. But with that being said, I'm looking forward to this year, even though we're already 15 days or 14 days in. 15 days, 14. See, I don't even know what day it is, and that's the beauty of being your own boss and working a homestead, because you just live day by day. You don't live by what day it is or what time it is, other than you have to know kind of what time it is because of feed time for your animals, feed time for yourself. But technically, we as humans eat when we're hungry, which is wrong, because you should not be eating when you're hungry. Don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry either. You end up with more shit than you should have, and that's not right, because it's all impulse buying. But no, I really look forward to this year and everything that it holds, because had I decided to just keep doing what I was doing, I would not be improving on myself. And you always want to improve yourself. And so I am always finding and trying to do new things and new product. New product is the killer of it all. That's why I'm doing things on saw blades. It's very cool and exciting. And yes, I've seen it done before on knives and things like that, and I have seen saw blade artwork before, but it's all your rustic stuff. It's not horror or comic book characters or things of that nature. It's always, this outdoor scene of a tranquil lake by a mountain, or this serene setting inside of a forest, or those type things. That's not me. Yes, I will be putting forest scenes, and I will be doing serenity scenes and things like that in my comic book, but still, it is a comic book. It is action. It is adventure. It is superhero-esque characters, and that's what I love to draw. So I was asked by a friend of mine yesterday, "Are you going to stop doing superhero work or comic books?" And I'm like, no, don't let what I'm drawing fool you, because I still will be creating all of my different comic book characters. And up yours, Facebook or TikTok. Not Facebook, TikTok. TikTok does this stupid little thing. If you say the wrong things, and I probably just said it again, that they pull up this puzzle piece, and you have to slide this puzzle piece into its place, and because you said something that was taken as a derogatory term or whatever that they deemed inappropriate. And so it pauses your show for a split second, and then you got to do this stupid slide over, and it's basic simple stuff. You slide this little thing, this little piece over to the puzzle, and then it lets you back in, and it brings your show back up. So you have to watch certain things that you say. Now, you can say all the curse words that you want over here, but if you say something that's derogatory in a light of, like, I'm trying to, and my brain isn't working as far as what the other word would be for a certain word. But if you say this word, it's going to pull up this thing. If you say this word, it's going to pull up this thing. But if you say fuck or shit or things of that nature, it doesn't do squat. But you say certain keywords out there, and boom, your broadcast is paused, and you've got to slide the little slider and all that stuff, which is annoying. So, but again, if this platform, TikTok, not Facebook, goes away on the 19th like they're talking about, which I don't really see that happening, but if it does, it does. A lot of people are jumping to Red Note. They're jumping to Blue Sky, True Social, Clapper, Flipper, or Flip. There's a few other ones out there. But, I don't know if I'm going to go those platforms or not, but I definitely will be on YouTube. My YouTube channel is 412 Productions or Monty Anderson. Facebook is 412 Art Productions. Instagram is 412 Art Productions. But you can look for the 412 Productions or my Alien, and you'll know you're there. Facebook, I'm Monty Anderson, and I am also 412 Productions. And 412 Art Productions, it's all the same. I just had to do some different things because there are a lot of other 412 Productions out there. Some are music, some are construction, those type of things. Mine is the only art productions as far as 412 Art Productions out there. So if you're looking for me there, that's how you can find me. I do have my website posted on TikTok. So if you go into my links, you pull up my website, and it has my socials tagged right there underneath my Alien logo. So you'll be able to find me easier that way if you are looking for me out there in the world. And if you're looking for me, come find me. I'm lost too. No, I just like to have some fun and enjoy life as it comes. But we have a few more minutes. What else can we talk about? I'll be doing a bunch more saw blade artwork. I got to decide what bases I want to use or continue to buy the crest looking base. Because I've already run out of those. Because technically what I originally bought those for was my swords, and I was going to put dowels in them and hang my swords by them and things like that. But that just didn't happen. Just because it never happened. Not for any real reason, excuse me. But it's just,